Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 59 of Direwolf20's Let's Play of Minecraft 1.21. Today, pattern provider time, we are jumping into automating Pneumaticraft. So last episode, we set up a whole bunch of cool Pneumaticrafty things, and in today's episode, I'm going to go ahead and set up some pattern providers. So you're currently got 2 channels going off in this direction in use. That's about to become 3. Boop. Now 3 channels in use. If this becomes a problem, I can always make this like a dense cable running across here. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. We'll figure it out when the time comes. But for now, I should be able to set up pattern providers to craft things on demand. And I did update my mod between episodes. So what should happen now... Oh, good! And I also added it so that the portal gun has a fluid bar, and so does the canister, by the way. So I don't know if you guys noticed this. This was a subtle thing, but I made it so that the time wand had a fluid bar. I didn't set that up for some of my other fluid-containing items, and in the latest version of Just Dire Things, I actually fixed that. The other thing I did is I added that shift-click functionality that I was talking about. So now, when I go home from here, whoop, okay, I can go set up patterns, right? So I can be like, hey, compressed iron, you're made with iron. Cool. And then I can shift-click, and it'll teleport me right to where I was standing when I right-clicked previously. How cool is that? So now I can come over here and throw this dude in here, and that should be cool, okay? And then what I can do is I can laser IO my items out of there into things. So what I should be able to set up is this, okay? And we can bind you. I usually like sending back to the pattern provider, but right now that thing has a cable to get to it. So it doesn't matter how it gets into the system, usually. So what I'm gonna do, can you reach all the way over here? You can, good. So on the east side, you're gonna insert, and on the down, or on the up side, you're going to extract. And if I were to say, make me some, make me one of these, this should work. We can tell it's working because we can hear it. See the little door open? And then the item pops in and now it's transferred over to here. Now it should quickly be going here and then pulled out and auto crafting complete. Nice. All right, cool. So today's episode, we're going to play more with Pneumaticraft. All right, so there's a few things we're going to want to get to progress through Pneumaticraft. So Pneumaticraft has access to a lot of fun and cool toys that we can play with. But we definitely want to... The other thing that I like about Pneumaticraft is it has a fun progression system. Like, you have to, like, get one resource and then work your way up. I always like mods with a little bit of progression in them because it gives me something to work towards, right? Like, I like being able to build automation systems. Like, that's where I have fun, is coming up with fun ways to, like, automate and create, which is why a big part of Just Dire Things is a bunch of machines that help you automate things, because I like, you know, I like to do that. So what we're going to take a look at today is some of the stuff we're going to want to automate. So first off, we're going to want to get some lubricant. Lubricant is going to help us speed up our machines. Now you can buy it with emeralds if you want, or you can craft it using either biodiesel or diesel. Now diesel comes from processing crude oil, which you can find in the world, but biodiesel is made using ethanol and vegetable oil, which you can get from plants, which is cool because we already have a bunch of plants, including potatoes and wheat and all that stuff. So since we already have plants, and because it's a renewable source of fuel, biodiesel is probably the approach we're going to go with. So yeah, I think that that's a plan. We can also, by the way, use that biodiesel as a fuel source, which we can totally do in some other things. We can also use it to get molten plastic, which is also going to be really useful for some of the stuff that we're going to want going forward in the future, because there's a bunch of things in the mod that use plastic that are going to be important. Specifically, these pneumatic cylinders need plastic. In addition, another resource we're going to need to build and automate are finished PCBs. Now, finished PCBs require this assembly line system. However, most of the crafting recipes of this assembly line system require finished PCBs. So the thing is, there's 2 ways to make finished PCBs in this mod. One that's slow and resource intensive, but once you make a few of them, you can make an assembly line which makes making them easier. And this assembly line also unlocks some other recipes. So this thing makes like all kinds of cool stuff like advanced pressure tubes and a few other things that are going to be really useful for us. So with all that said, our next step here is to start working on ways to get plastic and lubricant. And for that, we're going to need biodiesel. Okay, so biodiesel's relatively easy to make. All we're really going to need is some, like I said, vegetable oil and ethanol. So vegetable oil comes from just crushing up seeds or crops of almost any kind. Ethanol, on the other hand, requires yeast and potatoes, or poisonous potatoes, or apples, or sugar. There's a couple ways you can get it. Now, yeast is an interesting one. It's a fun automation process. You can either throw a bunch of mushrooms into a thermal processor, or you can use sugar to duplicate yeast from water. So what happens is you take some existing yeast that you have, probably from this machine, and then place it in the world next to some water, drop sugar in the yeast, and it'll convert the adjacent water block to a yeast block. And that feels like a challenge with Just Dire things written all over it. We have to sense what kind of water block is in the world and drop something. Seems very doable. Cool. So let's get going with yeast production today. I think that's our cool step to start off. So first thing we're going to need are some thermopneumatic processing plants. We're going to need these anyway for some other future things that we're going to need. So for that, you know what, I may have to pop home and add some recipes because clearly we don't have everything we need to make a thermopneumatic processing plant. We need to know how to make small fluid tanks, which are easy enough because we know how to make all the components. And then these slab dudes. Cool. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and create a vortex tube pattern because we're going to need one of these as well. Now, in Pneumaticraft, we've discussed already the existence of air pressure and all that stuff, right? Shift-click to go back to where I was. Awesome. You know what? Every now and then, like little minor tweaks to an item make a big difference. And in my opinion, this was one of them, right? Shift right clicking to go back to where you last were at is like, and you can do it and it'll bring you back to where you were. Like this is where I was when I opened, right? And shift right click to go like that. That is a mechanic. That is, I feel like that's a game changer. You guys let me know what you think, but I feel like that's a big one. Anyway, what was I talking about? I don't know. I got lost in my own mod. Thermopneumatic processing. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to want a vortex tube. I know we're going to need one of these guys. They are cool. Nifty. And then thermopneumatic processing. Okay, now vortex tubes are cool. So there's a couple different things in Pneumaticraft that we need to know about. One of them is pressure, and we've already talked about that, right? The other one is temperature. Some machines require temperature, and some things need to be very cold, and some things need to be very hot. So, for example, turning yeast culture into ethanol using poisonous potatoes, your temperature needs to be between 30 and 60 C. Too hot and it doesn't work, too cold and it doesn't work. Doing this process, though, just needs to be above 100. So you can make it as hot as you want. It doesn't matter, as long as you're above 100. So there's a couple different machines, right? Now, the vortex tube here is a way to create heat or cold using air pressure. So basically when you place it in the world, there's two sides to it, a red side and a blue side, and you can probably guess which one is which, but the red side is the hot side and the blue side is the cold side. So if you put a machine here, the vortex tube will cool it off, and if you place a machine here, the vortex tube will heat it up. Now, the vortex tube does put heat and coldness on the opposite side. So like, if you put it here, it's gonna cool that machine off, but then it's gonna make this block hot. And you're going to want to radiate that heat away. Otherwise, the vortex tube will be less efficient. So we'll get into that a little bit, but just be aware of that. But let's start with getting our first bucket of yeast. So we're going to need a couple mushrooms. And luckily, we have a few. And then we're going to need a bucket of water. And that should be cool. And a thermopneumatic processing plant, which when we place it in the world is currently at 24 degrees C. Okay, good to know. Now, if I remember correctly, the Y level that you're at can impact the temperature just a little bit. Now, for yeast culture, we need to be somewhere between 30 and 60 C. Too hot, too cold, not good. So right now we're too cold. We're at 24 C. Let's go down a little bit in the Y levels. and see if I'm right about this. How about down here, right? If I throw this machine down here, ooh, we're at 28C. Look at that. So the lower down in Y level you go, the better. For this particular use case, right? Now, I wouldn't mind having, let's get your Eclipse Gate maxed out for a sec. Thank you. And then Eclipse Gate, you can go back to 1. I don't want to have to like go all the way down to manage it. So what I'd like to see is if we can get this thermopneumatic processing plant to be warm enough to make it. Now, what do we need by way of pressure for making yeast? Yeast does not need pressure. So when you look at the recipe here, if there's no pressure gauge, it doesn't matter what the pressure is. You don't need pressure, it's fine. So all we need to do is get a little bit of heat here. So what we can do is... Now, this is like a one-time temporary craft, but that said, we're also going to need to turn the yeast into ethanol, and that needs the same temperature. So I'm going to set this system up to make 1 bucket of yeast, and then reuse it to convert yeast into ethanol. Deal? Deal. So we're going to set this up probably right around here-ish. Okay? And that should be cool. Yeah, I like it. All right, so let's get some tubing going on. Now, we can get some tubes, which is good. There's also regulator tubes. This tube limits the pressure allowed on its low side based on the redstone signal it receives. No signal equals 4.9 bars, a full signal equals 0, no air through, and other signal levels are interpolated. Air is always allowed to travel backwards through the regulator, making it usable as a one-way valve. When upgraded with module expansion card, you can configure it by the GUI. In other words, if we give this thing a redstone signal strength of 1, it should allow 0.5 bars of pressure through. And that should be a very small amount of pressure, allowing our vortex tube to heat things up just a little bit, and hopefully just a little bit enough to get me past 30, but not above 60. Deal? So with that said, let's place this vortex tube such that the blue side is facing down. Okay? And then what we're going to do is use some tubing here. Now, you might be a little bit in my way, but we'll make it work. What we got here? Is this where this dude comes in? Yeah, nice. All right. So what we're going to want is to make sure that this guy's pressure, if we do a regulator, I should probably have these guys added here, but we'll get there. For now, you can just, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. But, oh well. Just wasting a little bit of stuff there. Life goes on. Okay, so you can go that way. And if I'm not mistaken, the way this is set up is that is the output, and then this is the input. That should be cool. I'm trying to make it so that like the last piece I connect is the one that has pressure in it, so that we don't leak anything. Cool. Now you should not be doing that. Do you need to be rotated, wrench? You might need to be rotated. So yeah, you're getting like way too hot now. That's not ideal. So I think what I need to do, oh wait, if you're not receiving it, so what if I did, just for fun, we did this. Okay, that's better. That's better. Right. Right. So if I used one of these fancy dudes, can you go on like a wall? Oh, you can. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool, 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 cool. Okay. So can I have red equals 1 and run? Now I break you. And alas, no, you do not seem to be behaving the way I want you to. Okay, what if I did... Is that cool or is that not cool? Actually, I think I want red equal to 14. Is that cool? Nope. 15? What's that do? All right, remind me how this pressure tube thing works again. No signal equals far, a full signal 0. So like 14 should be 0.5, right? Yeah, so I think I want this to be 14. So in fairness, probably don't even need you. If I did that, that should be 14, and then that... Are you getting this signal or no? I can't quite tell. He should be. But he doesn't seem to be, right? Threshold 0.3 bars. Okay, no, he is, right? Because if I turn you off, your threshold will be 4.9. Yeah, that's what I want. 0.3 bars. That sounds about right. What if I just did that and that? Now we're cool? Okay, now we're cool. Yep, cool. It just wasn't going backwards. So yeah, that's what I would want. Okay, great. And then you hopefully will hover right about where I want you to be. That looks good. I'm cool with that. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. So I was right. Everything was set up correctly. I think there's covers for these dudes. I forget. If not, I can always loop it behind or something. I probably should is what I should do. I should loop this behind so that it doesn't become like an in my way thing, right? That seems like really smart. I like that plan. I'm gonna implement said plan. For that to work, I'm going to need to break you. And it's going to drain the air pressure out of all these machines, but that's okay. Okay. And then what we'll do... Okay. That's cool. I'm okay with that. I don't love that I'm like leaking outside here, but I'm also kind of okay with it. I guess that's okay. It's not my favorite thing that I'm doing, but I'll manage. All right, so let's remove this. Yep, I know. Big mess. There we go. So what I'm going to want to do instead is have this guy probably come in like... So he's going to be a little bit of a unique case, but like I'm going to have a tube going here with this doing that. Maybe I want the tube here, with this doing that, and that should be cool. Okay. Can you be a corner? I don't think you can be a corner. Okay. Maybe what I should do instead is put you here, like that. Kind of like that plan better. Yes. Now, out of curiosity, can we do this in like a super cool, and you're emitting a 14? Threshold 0.3. That works. Do you need to be on something? Yes. Okay, just checking. Just checking. Run. Threshold 0.3. Nice. Okay. And then you can actually... I do like having to build like piping systems and stuff. It does make for some fun automation challenges and whatnot, right? And then we can continue along this way and do all kinds of stuff, right? And like have other machines hooked up with other pressure and whatnot. All right, so everything's hooked up now. We've got this thing running. I think that's pretty cool. Now, again, we're only doing one time creation of yeast. So let's drop this in here. We'll put these 4 in here. And if I remember correctly, the way this works is we're going to get 250 millibuckets of yeast out of one mushroom. So that's why I put 4 in there. Now, it takes a minute, but that's okay, because I have a thing that takes less time. Sweet. Oh, so I'm going to need more water buckets. Yes, sirree. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Are you not warm enough? You may not be warm enough. So overclocking this may have impacted some temperaturiness, right? But that's okay. It should, once the overclocking wears off, kind of raise a little bit. There we go. Cool. And now we're above the threshold, so we're cooking again. So I'll just come back in a minute when this is done. In the meantime, I'm going to like prep an area over here where we're going to set up, I mean, I don't see any reason not to put it like right back here somewhere. Right in the floor. Seems pretty cool to me. Yeah. Well, actually, let's get this ready, right? So we're going to need a simple fluid placer. So that should be cool. So simple fluid placer, because we're going to want to place water, right? And then we're going to want a sensor, right? A simple sensor, because we only need to sense one area. Cool. And then we're going to need a simple dropper, because we're going to want to drop sugar. Okay, seems pretty easy peasy. Maybe I want this to sit over here. I kind of like that idea, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, I'm going to do this over here, because then what I can do is I can get sugar. Why do we have 512 sugar? Probably from our mob farm. That would be correct. We know how to craft it too, so just in case we ever run out of sugar, I'm going to put a crafting card in here. And then what we can do is this and this and that. Reality is I don't think I need that many sugars, so 8 should be plenty. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And we'll build this over here, right? So what I want to do is look at the yeast recipe. So I have to remember, because I remember there's a certain order that you want to do this. But my memory is such that we place the water and then we drop the sugar into the yeast. And then we're going to want a collector too, by the way. So we're going to want a simple fluid collector. Well, maybe I want an advanced collector. Yeah, I'm thinking I want an advanced collector just so I can filter it. Is that fair? I think that's fair. And all it's going to cost me is a few extra diamonds. So, meh. Yeah, then I can filter what gets picked up, because that's an important part of this whole setup. Cool. Okay. So are you done with your yeasting yet? Yes, we have a bucket of yeast culture. Hooray! All right. So then over here, what we're going to set up is you're going to be a placer of water. Now, can you keep in stock water? I'm pretty sure you can. Yes. Excellent. 4 buckets of water being kept in stock in the ME interface. That's going to be an important bit in a minute. All right, so you're going to sit here. Okay, and then we're going to have a sensor. And then we're going to have a, whoop, that's the sensor. Sensor here, dropper here, and collector there. And you're going to allow this. Now you're going to need energy, but we can handle that with a little bit of power. Sweet power. I had to fix that's the thing I have to fix. JEI overlay. Let me put that on my just dire things to fix note. Do I have a? Nope. I'll put it on my to-do list later. There's little bugs in my mod that I keep remembering and then not remembering to note to fix. And then when I do like a bug fix, like I did the other day, and added some other cool features, I forget to fix these little things. So yeah, actually not to. I need you to be... Yeah, you actually need to live. One block further. Right? Or, you know what I'm going to do? Put you here. Cool. So this will be the constant yeast. Okay. So then what we're going to have here is you're going to sit there, and then you're going to flow there. Okay. And you, simple sensor, will emit a strong signal, which should hopefully trigger this guy to drop your sugar. Okay. So let's set this up. I'm going to want you, who's currently set up to insert on white over here, right? I'm going to want you to actually extract, how about, what's a good yeast color? Yellow? Sounds cool. Okay. So you're going to both extract items and fluids on yellow. Okay. And then over here, you're a fluid placer. Needs more iron, as always. So on the down, you're going to insert on yellow. And then we... And now you should be getting water. Nice. Okay. And then you're going to, on the down, insert on yellow. Oh, hang on. But with a filter. And you should be on pulse, by the way. So down, filter, sugar times 4, let's say. Boom. Cool. Now you're going to be a collector, and you're going to be there, and you're going to be allowing yeast. Cool. Cool. Okay, so you're allowed to pick up yeast, and then you down here are going to sense the existence of water, and when you see water, you're going to drop yeast. Okay, now why aren't you placing water? Because you should be. You can place overflowing blocks, right? Thought you could place overflowing blocks. Might be mistaken. Now, why aren't you pulsing? Because I broke... Nope, there's a block there, so he should be emitting a straight redstone signal. It's okay. What's the difference between the pen and the quill? This uses redstone from your inventory, right? Okay, cool. Allow list. There's your problem. Okay, cool. And then we just want to magnet off for a sec. So if I do that... Nope, wait. The dropper has to drop in here, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Pretty sure the dropper has to drop in here. Let's make you a pulse for a sec. Did that work? That worked. I think we have to place the water after the sugar's there, if I'm not mistaken. Which is a confusing approach, but yeah, the trick is, I thought you would override flowing. You should override flowing. Pretty sure you were set to override flowing. Let me go look at that. So the benefit of making your own mod is such that you can go make changes however you see fit. So I just went and changed how my mod works, updated my Minecraft instance, and now I can overwrite flowing fluid. Because this should be able to overwrite flowing, so that's a bug. And because it's affecting my current... yeah, how cool is that? So here's the deal. Here's the deal. We're going to want... yeah, challenges. I really would like... So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change up how this works, because we have to drop the sugar here. But here's the challenge, right? You ready? When this guy's flowing like this, the sugar wants to be pushed. What just happened? Something broke. I didn't do it. Oh, somebody blew up. How did you blow up? Whoop. Crisis averted. How are you at 5 bars? You should be off, sir. Did he, like, run enough? All right, so I think I need to put that safety valve on. There we go. Crisis averted. Now any excess air will get leaked, which is what we want. But I don't know how that popped. Must have... My assumption is that, like, it got a quick signal and, like, enough to push it over. There we go. And then eventually you guys will stop, yes? Right? Are you receiving? You're set to low. Yeah, no, they're not running, right? Good. Oh, and you need to be set to low signal. Oh, there we go. Yep, I popped it again. Low signal. Don't pop, don't pop, don't pop, don't pop! Woo! We made it. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I think having the safety valve there is definitely a good plan. Just, you know, be safe. Just to be safe. All right, what was I doing? Yes, so here's my thought, right? We want to change this up. What I'm thinking is we sense when there's not a... So we're going to deny list, and we're going to have yeast culture. Okay, bucket here. And we're also going to say level 0, which I think is source, right? So now we're going to say if there's not a source bucket there, emit a redstone signal. And if that's correct, you should be emitting a redstone signal now, right? If we set this back to any... See how it's like not emitting a signal now, right? We want it to be 0 so that it does emit a signal. Because, like, right now, right, it's emitting, because it's saying, like, hey, there's yeast there, but now I'm checking for a source block of yeast, which is the key, right? So if there's not a source block there, because you're in deny mode, if there's not a source block there, right? So if I put a source block there, well, first he's going to be scooped up, so let me put you on pulse, right? Right? Now he's not emitting a signal. And now he should be. Perfect. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. So if you don't have a source block there, then emit a signal. And on that signal, I'm going to tell you to drop sugar, and then very shortly thereafter, place water. How's that sound? I like that plan. Okay. So to accomplish said plan, we're going to have to rearrange this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move the... I'm going to pick you up just so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to hide you for a sec. What I guess I want to do, okay, is have you here as the dropper. Oops, not you. Right, and you're set to pulse. On the down, you're going to insert this guy, the sugar, okay? And then we're going to have the fluid placer break you guys. Cool. And then the fluid placer will go here. Okay. Now what I could do is I could sense for the sugar, but I'm worried that that would be, well, too slow. I'm just going to assume that we're always going to have the correct amount of sugar there. And if we don't, this will break. But that's okay. I'm going to say. So now you're going to go on the down, insert that, and then you're going to connect up to this guy and that guy. So now you're getting your water again, you're getting your sugar again, and everybody's groovy. Cool? Okay. And then you're going to go there. Okay. And then we will say, so we want to make sure that you're on weak signal, so you're not like transmitting to any blocks. And what I'm going to do is underground here. Okay, we will have a repeater. Yeah, I'm thinking this through. Okay, because what we want to do is have a signal repeater go here. All right, so let's have the repeater go... Because we actually want you to do the dropper and then wait a split second and then do the fluid placer. Right? Okay. So actually what we're going to want to do is go around this side of things. Just make sure that we've got everybody nice and cool, right? So dropper goes first, and then placer goes second. Okay, so when you sense with your redstone-y self, there's a ender gate there. I'll solve that another way. I was like, why can't I place a redstone there? Oh, ender gate, yeah, that'll do it. Dyer's going to do some vanilla redstone today, and everybody's going to be excited about it. Vanilla-ish. Okay, so drop first. Okay. And then... Today we're going to find out how well this redstone quill does things in this weird... Yeah, he doesn't want to click onto you, does he? Because you're a machine. That's interesting. Why do you say 0, 0? I wonder if there's like a way to get you to place on machines like that without opening the UI. I'm guessing not. So how could I get that to go up there? Boy, is this going to be convoluted. Wonder if this works. We're checking out Redstone Quill today for sure, guys. Think that'll work? Guess we'll find out. I don't actually know. I don't actually know. Well, let's see what happens, because I should be able to manually trigger this with a pulse, and then we'll see if it places stuff. Sounds like a plan. So what this should do is drop a sugar, and then a split second later, place a water source. Nope, it did not. And the reason for that is because reasons. So what if I instead did that? That should now work. Okay, you ready? I knew it was going to work, that's why I had my block ready. Ha! That's cool. That's cool. How cool is that? I like that redstoniness. I like it. Okay. And then we just cover you up like so. And everybody's happy? Okay. Right? So now, I don't need you no more. You're going to be good. We're going to turn you off. I'm going to set you to ignored. You're going to pick up in that area. Okay? And now, watch. Was it not fast enough? It may not have been fast enough. I think it was too slow. So we need to adjust the timing on you. How about that? Okay, ready, go. Really? I'm gonna do it faster and see if that solves anything. All right, I think I have a solution for this, but I think it requires changing it all up again, and I want to test it some more. So I think it's still a little bit too quick here, and I think we really need to force a block update on this yeast culture. Now, here's a trick I discovered. We can drop the sugar in there, and as long as we force a block update on this yeast culture, it will... You ready? Go. Cool. So it is working, kind of. But if the sugar happens to move over before... Like, if the sugar moves too quickly, right? Now, what I could do... I wonder if I could push it... What direction is this? Facing north. What if I tossed it north? That could work. See how it's like going north? See? That's actually working, I think. Oh, that's a solution. Oh, look at that cool solution. That is a cool solution. I love it. I love it. A use case for controlling which direction the items flow from the dropper. You know, that was a feature I added, and I was like, I don't know if there's a good use for this, but like, why not? I'm now pleased that I did that, because that actually solves this problem. The problem is the water was pushing it. But since I told the dropper to throw things in the north direction, it's now tossing the sugar in the north direction. And yes, the sugar is going to try to slide to the left, but like, that's okay, because by the time the sugar, like by the time the water gets placed, the sugar's already, like, that's cool. Right? You guys see how cool that is? Come on. Come on, that's cool. That is, like, hyper cool. And now it's, like, working. I had an idea for changing this, but I don't need to do it anymore. Cool? So now what should happen is he should stop. Okay? And because you are detecting a full yeast bucket, we do not have a redstone signal, okay? But you ready for this? As soon as I take yeast out of this collector, it places a new one. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Dyer proud. Dyer's so proud of Dyer. Oh man, that is cool. Alright, so wrapping up point for the episode, LetsPlay sign off. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll come back next time. I am very pleased with myself for coming up with that throw north direction idea. Because, like, I was all about to tear this down and rebuild it so that I could, like, trigger a redstone signal on this block to force a block update. And I was like, no, wait. No, wait, I don't need to. I have an idea. And it worked. That's the best part. It worked. All right, so when we come back next episode, we will work on potato plus yeast equals ethanol, and then biodiesel. All right? But for now, LetsPlay sign off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.